Alright guys, we're continuing the Tim walks, and we left the pool, which I just dunked in, and felt so good. And I want to talk, we're up at our kitchen now, and I've been talking a lot about sacred space, and I want to mention this kitchen is one of the most sacred places in our camp, and I want you to consider how that could be true even for your home. This is where the heart of the camp is, the beating heart of Headwaters Outdoor School. This is where the staff cooks the meals, puts the love into the food. This is where the food is consumed with love and respect and honor, and turns into nutrition, and it helps us to grow and to think and to create. This is where deep, meaningful conversations happen, where jokes are told, where stories are told about the day and the happenings, the things people went through, the little epiphanies people had. It all happens here in the kitchen. And it's no accident that this kitchen is right next to our creek, Dale Creek. You can hear it right now, flowing from the mountains above all the way down into the Sacramento River, into the Pacific Ocean. All our thoughts, all our memories, all our experiences jump into this creek, go down to the ocean, and mix with the dolphins and the whales. And I believe that, guys. We're all one, we're all connected. I truly believe these trees in the kitchen witness what we say and what we do, and they tell their own stories. They hold space for us so that we feel good being together. People fall in love in the kitchen. You know, anything can happen. The dogs hang out. They give us lots of good time to pet with them and hang and love them and be with them. The heart of a camp, the heart of a home is the kitchen. And so the other thing I really want to mention here, is kind of a side note, but it's important, is how do you eat? When you consume food, how do you do it? Do you do it consciously, with love, with respect? I like to, if I do eat meat, I think it's always important to eat organic animals that are raised in a good, healthy way, not factory farming. And I think we should always think about those animals and honor them by giving them blessings and by doing something good with our lives, taking the nutrition that they give us and making our lives count for something. It's all connected. The same with the plants we eat. Let those plants turn into nutrition for us, and we go out in the world and we do something. We can't live without eating. So it's all connected, it's all one. And the kitchen is that storehouse for all the happenings of a camp. The actual heart and soul of a camp, okay? And the Headwaters kitchen, probably no better kitchen I've ever seen in my life. I mean, just alone, you always hear stories of how kitchens are kind of uptight places to work. In Julie's kitchen, people fight to work in that kitchen because everybody's coming from a good place. It's a fun, beautiful, loving space. So hold to the kitchen, and I hope you never enter a kitchen again without thinking that way, okay? Next, I'm gonna walk you over here to the spring, which is the water that we drink while we're in the kitchen. We'll go there right now. This is going to go right up here to where we get the water out of this spring creek here. So I want to talk about our spring and springs in general. Now spring, and it's truly, you know, another conversation I've had in Tim Talks, I think, is on power spots. One of the most powerful places anywhere in nature is springs. There are places you just can't hang out enough. I can't tell you how much you need to sit by springs and just be there, present with the space. Springs, if you had X-ray eyes and you look down through the earth, you would see lakes, rivers, even oceans and creeks. And there's places where the rock and so forth cracks, and under pressure, water bubbles to the surface. And those are springs. This is water coming from the heart of the earth, literally from the heart of the earth. I can't tell you how important that is, that water, when you drink it. It's the purest water you could ever drink. Anytime you find a spring, you've got to spend time there. We're blessed in this camp. This spring actually appeared after I bought this land, after a storm. It appeared. And it's changed our lives in this camp to drink this water. People come from all over the country to get this water and bottle it and bring it home. Somebody once said to me, "Why don't you bottle this water and sell it, Tim?" And I said, I couldn't do that. This is sacred water. It's not meant to be sold, to make money off of. It's meant to be shared with all the people that come to this camp, of course all the animals. And the trees are constantly with their roots funneling down into the spring, drinking it. So when you drink spring water, take it in and look at it first. Look at the beauty here. Then maybe you put it in your hands like this. These dogs like the spring so much, they're not giving me much of a chance here. Cooper, go. You go like this. Look at it, appreciate it, bless it, honor it, then drink it. And you drink it slow, and you literally feel it nurturing your body, going into the cells of your body, into your muscles, all over you. And that makes it medicine. It takes it to the next level. And just enjoy it. Just love it. Be happy with it. It will take water from just something you do, drinking it, to a sacred experience. And what? We're 80-90% water human beings. The planet Earth would not be alive without water. When you see it from space, it is the water that makes it unique among the whole universe. Start thinking of water as sacred, springs as sacred, and your life will change. We are so blessed with this spring. And you know what? We've probably got 12 other springs on this land. And the creeks. It's unbelievable. Every day I go like this. I pinch myself. Am I real? Am I actually living in this place? I love to share it with you guys. I'm so glad that you heard this. I'm going to take you up to the sweat lodge next. All right, everybody. I'm going to take you up to the sweat lodge, which is one of my very favorite places on the land. I've been running sweats for 35 years of my life, and I want to tell you a little story. When I was 10 years old, I was in the Mission Mountains of Montana on my grandfather's homestead. I had an Irish grandfather who had a homestead there. I was so lucky to spend summers there. And it was in the middle of the Flathead Indian Reservation. And it was a very small town, and my grandfather was in charge of maintaining all the dirt roads. There were no paved roads. And everybody knew everybody, and everybody loved the Indians and the white people who lived in the town in the middle of the reservation. They all got along. Everybody got along. One of those rare things, as you know, in times like this, it's hard to believe. And the Indians, they really took care of me and looked after me. And every day my grandfather would send me out, and I'd just go off hunting, fishing, hiking, exploring. It was safe to do that those days. One day I'm hiking along and I hear some noise, and I'm curious, you know, as a good kid should be. And I go to where the noise is, and I'm looking through some bushes, and there's all these old men with a big round lodge by them and a fire going. And it's a sweat lodge, although I didn't know it at the time. I'd heard stories about it. By the way, if I didn't mention, I was 10 years old. And I'm peeking through, and one of the old guys looks at me and goes, and I thought, oh my God, I'm in trouble. And he takes me over, and he takes me into the sweat lodge, and they sing these beautiful songs, and I knew I was at home. I'm getting chills right now from my whole body. I knew I'd found my home, my spiritual center, the spiritual center for my life, nature, and my way of expressing my love of the earth through the sweat lodge and through the community. That changed me forever. So I started running sweats throughout my life from that point on backpack trips with my friends, when I lived in Santa Cruz with friends on the ocean and the beach. And when I found this land in 1992, and we ran our first sweat here with the view of Mount Shasta, I knew I'd found my sweat lodge. So I'm going to take you up and show you, walk up the trail and show you. This trail has many stories. People have wandered up this trail and came into the sweat lodge and wandered back down, and their lives were different forever. This trail holds that space. really believe that all spaces need entrances and exits, particularly sacred spaces. And this archway here, which was built by a number of the kids who come to our school and our apprentices, has all kinds of beautiful sticks and meaningful bones and things like that. And it's meant to have you stop before you enter this sacred space of the sweat and think and feel. Stop and think and feel, look around, notice the area, get yourself centered so when you walk into this space, you're totally open to transforming your life forever. And that can just simply mean just connecting more deeply from a heart space with nature. But that can be truly profound. So when you enter through this archway, you are literally opening yourself up to whatever can happen. It's really, in some ways, a grand adventure. Come on through. Now it's interesting, this time of year we would normally have our sweat lodge covered with canvas and tarps. Probably be doing a sweat. But because of the COVID-19 and closing the school, the sweat lodge, for the first time in my entire life, is getting a break for a year. Makes me sad. Everything happens for a reason, even if I don't always understand it immediately. But I do want to talk about it. What could be a better spot for a sweat? Location is really important. Mount Shasta's out that way to the east. Through the trees, you can see her. Beautiful blue sky today. Snow still on the mountain. This is right in the beginning of June 2020. And to the back is our creek, which I'll take you back there in a moment. Dale Creek. And when people sweat in between rounds, they can get in. Now, I can talk forever about a sweat, and I'll do it more throughout these talks and through Tim Talks. But I want to keep this really simple. When you look at a sweat lodge, it's like entering the heart of the earth. It's like entering the sacred space in the heart of the earth. The womb of Mother Nature is another way to look at it, which a lot of our native ancestors did. You go into here, you sing songs with your community, you pray in your own way for guidance, for help, for knowledge, for assistance, for ideas, for your hopes and your dreams to come true. You connect more deeply with your community. You purify yourself. Another term for the sweat is purification lodge. You wash out all your anger, your hatred, your negativity, all the things that hold you back from having a great life and being a really special person. You let it go away. And then when you come out of the sweat from in between the rounds, and there's 4 rounds, you jump in the creek and you let it wash away again. So by the time you leave this space and walk back out of that archway, you're cleansed and you're ready to restart your life. It's literally like you're being reborn. Sweats are also just a lot of fun. We heat rocks up right here on this incredible fire pit. We usually bring about 35, 40 rocks into the sweat. Then we come in. Then we pour water onto the rocks and we sit in that steam and do our work. And we do 4 rounds of this. It's a lot of fun. It's an adventure. It's a beautiful thing. A sacred space like this should always be kept immaculately clean. Every square inch of it, love and heart. Rake it, clean it. All the adornments should be just perfect. You should always caretake it to the best of your ability, and it will always take care of you. The last thing I want to say about this sweat, and like I said, I could write books on this. People's lives have changed here. This circle holds the stories of what we have put into it. All of us, hundreds, thousands of people have sweated here. Can you imagine the stories, the hopes and the dreams, the ideas that came out of this, the cleansing that took place? Can you imagine? That's what's happened here in this land. This is the center of the spiritual part of the land. The kitchen, the heart and soul, this is the spiritual center of the land. So ho to the sweat lodge. There'll be a lot more to say about that in the future. I'm really sad we're not doing any of them this year, but maybe we all need a little break. And oh, by the way, we're going to be rebuilding this lodge this year to magnificent beauty. And those of you that come back next year in 2021 will get a brand new, absolutely stunning sweat lodge. Come on back and look at the creek. This tree you're looking at right now, is an old growth cedar, western red cedar, and it is a special tree. She's what we call the matriarch. She watches out over our sweat and protects us. And then back here, I mean, what can you say? Look at this creek. It speaks for itself.